Hello and welcome to another $2 movie review. Today we're checking out Red Rock West, starring Nicolas Cage and Dennis Hopper and Lara Flynn Boyle. It's directed by John Dahl. Judging by the blurb and just the shots that they have at the back, it looks like it's a very well produced film. So I'm pretty excited for this film. It's got 95% on Rotten Tomatoes. The Washington Post called it a treasure waiting to be discovered, and Roger Ebert said it was a movie made by people who love movies. Let's check it out.
Red Rock West from Columbia TriStar Home Video.
Alright, I just got back from watching Red Rock West, and it's the best film I have seen so far for the $2 movie reviews. It's an excellent film. Everything about it is great. The premise, if you haven't seen my blurb video, essentially Nicolas Cage plays Michael, who is jobless and just got $5 in his wallet. He rocks up in this bar in Red Rock and takes a job offer from the bartender without knowing what it is. Turns out the bartender wants his wife killed, and Michael has been mistaken for a hitman. Afterwards, there is a whole bunch of twists and turns as the story develops until the very end. The story of the film has a bit of that classic mistaken identity plot, as well as the on-the-run criminal couple films such as True Romance. And just as Roger Ebert described it, existing sneakily between a whole bunch of genres, you could definitely tell that that's true in this film. There's a whole bunch of elements from different genres that blend in really well in this film. There's obviously the noir or neo-noir elements. You've got the western, you've got the crime, you've got the thriller, you've got the suspense. It's very Hitchcockian, which I really enjoyed. This whole mixture of genres in the script works really well. Also, the cinematography is fantastic. Very stylized lightings for some scenes. There's a whole bunch of shots, especially the night shots with the neon lights or the moonlights, is done very well. Also, the use of the cinematography also emphasizes the whole mixture of genre elements. For example, you have this one conversation scene happening in the same place. Nicolas Cage and Lara Flynn Boyle are lit in very different ways. Lara Flynn Boyle is lit with quite ambient sort of lighting in a very 50s noir aesthetic, whereas Nicolas Cage, as you can see with that shadow over half his face, has a more modern neo-noir, modern western aesthetic with his wardrobe. It never feels out of place. They just blend it in well. It works well at making this film quite unique. And going a little further with what I said in previous videos about how to make a great character, we start off this film with Nicolas Cage having to make a couple of choices. Through these choices, we get to work out what kind of character he is. For example, Nicolas Cage in one of the opening scenes walks behind a counter at the gas station and briefly considers stealing some of the cash that's below the counter. The fact that he has to consider this shows that he's very broke, but the fact that he doesn't steal this at all shows that he's a very honest and good person. Very well written characters. I know it's not that hard, but based on the previous videos I've seen for these reviews, it's a welcome surprise. I have some minor issues with the film. So at the very last line, it says, "Keep you guessing until the final shocking shot." And I don't know if they're referring to gunshot or the film shot. The final shot of the film is just a really wide shot of a train, and it reveals nothing new. There's no shocking revelations in that moment. Definitely not referring to that. If it means gunshot, there are things that are revealed after the last gunshot. I honestly don't know what it means. The second issue I have is Dennis Hopper in this film. He's a little bit too campy. I know he's a great actor, but I feel like his style of acting for this film doesn't really work well.
Well, you're as pretty as advertised. You look pretty near good enough to eat.
It kind of works well for his character, but up against the other actors, I feel like he's a little out of place, a little too cartoony at some times. I know Nicolas Cage is known for his snaps. Fuck Mexico! Whereas Dennis Hopper's wackiness is kind of consistent. So like even when there's a scene with multiple characters, he feels a little out of place to me. But yeah, that's the only issues I have with this film. It's definitely worth $2. I'll definitely recommend it for even more than $2. A very beautiful film. Best one so far that I've reviewed. I'll definitely recommend watching this. If you can get it for $2, do it. It's worth it. You're not going to waste those $2 on this film. So yeah, that's been Red Rock West. I hope you enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next week.